So Jess, you're our PR strategic lead here at 3Pipe, and we're here to talk about influencer marketing. It's becoming a bigger part of our planning and our overall marketing mix plans. Why is that?
I think it's really the speed you can activate at. A lot of brands at the moment are quite dubious about dedicating a huge amount of spend to something that they don't really know what's coming, especially with regards to the cost of living crisis. So having something you can switch on and off quite quickly is really appealing. Also, with many demographics, the younger, specifically the younger ones really, they don't trust brands telling them stuff anymore. They want to feel like they found it. They haven't really found it with an influencer, but it just feels a little bit more removed from the brand saying, do this thing. They really don't like being told what to do, so it's better for an influencer to tell them. Seems to work.
Okay, so obviously we get asked, how do you structure a commercial relationship with an influencer, and then how do you put an ROI against that spend?
Yeah, sure. So anything to do with conversion is traditionally quite scary for me, particularly because I come from a traditional PR background. But what we have now is an integrated ability to make sure that we can put our influencer content through a paid channel, and that's something that we will always do at 3Pipe. So when we structure a budget, we don't just look at the budget in a sense of this influencer will cost this much money to post on this day. It's more this influencer will cost this much and the content they create will cost this much. And what we really need to do next is put it through that paid channel, because that gives us the ability to track all of the data, to also put more of a conversion message on it and to behave in a way that ads do. So making sure that we can always work with the paid team to generate the ROI if that is what the client wants. Sometimes they just want a big flash in the pan, but if it is conversion, it has to be a paid conversation with us really.
And there just seems to be so much changing all the time, whether it's new influencers coming on, new platforms emerging. Where do you think it's going to go for the rest of this year, perhaps beyond?
Yeah, so it's really tricky to say where anything's going to go, but I feel like the world is slightly more stable, so we're able to say not exactly what will happen, but what might happen. And I think what will happen with the influencer world is that it's becoming and will become more of a mature channel. So we aren't just saying, hey, I'm launching a product, please can we fly an influencer into the air and unbox something and it'll be awesome. It's more, why are we working with that influencer? What is that content going to do? And brands are going to continue to ask those conversion questions. So it's learning the ability to answer those is really important. But also working with influencers on a regular basis is going to always be a thing. Unless you're someone with a massive budget and you go with loads of celebrities, you aren't going to get the return on investment that you need, specifically from the content. So we work with lots of different content creators across lots of different platforms. So the younger ones on TikTok, then you've got Instagram, and then you do have people on Pinterest and other channels too. But I would say the most important thing for influencers is to stop treating it like a new thing. It's a mature paid channel, and that's where I see it going.
And so you say paid channel, you talked about budgets.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of people think it's going to be expensive working with influencers. How do you work? How do you structure a commercial relationship with an influencer?
Yeah, so it really depends, and it's really tricky because a lot of clients will say, oh, I've worked with Mrs. Hinch and she sold loads of stuff, can I do that? And the first question is, do you have that much money? Because if you go down that route of flash in the pan, you can only really do that if you have a very large influencer. So for us, when we're structuring a budget, we really look at the size of influencer first. So we always ask for budget. I know that lots of brands will say, can you go and find me 10 influencers and tell me how much they might cost? We like to do it the other way around because we believe that you have to build that content buyout into any budget. So for us, we'll always look at the number of influencers and the length of time you can work with them, but also the content you can buy and where you can put it through, because having evergreen content that you can use for more than one channel is arguably more important than that big flash in the pan moment, which only Mrs. Hinch is going to get you really.
Well, thanks Jess, that's been great. And if anyone wants to get in touch, obviously they know where to come. Thank you very much.
Okay.